Hey everybody, Daniel Fusco here, and welcome to today's 2-minute message. So I've always heard about this, that in the midst of a huge storm, there's that eye in the center of the storm where everything gets calm for a moment. And it's a powerful picture because I think all of us deep down in our hearts, we want to be that peace in the midst of a world full of turmoil. In the midst of the storms of life, we want to be that area of safety, of peace, of quiet in the midst of it. And today I want to talk with you about how you can get that done. First, the only way to be able to be a force for peace in the midst of the storms of life is you have to be at peace with God. And what that means is you need to put your faith and trust in Jesus, because the storms of life are oftentimes, there's all these circumstances and people things, but when you're at peace with God because of your faith in Jesus, you realize that the biggest battle has already been won by Jesus, and these other battles that we have are real, but they're also temporal and temporary. So the first step is you need to have peace with God. Now, the second step is that you need to appropriate the peace of God. And what that means is the Apostle Paul says that that in all things, with prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let our requests be made known to God, and then God's peace, which surpasses all understanding, will guard our hearts and minds in Christ. When someone is in Christ, then it's about understanding that we have God's peace, because in the midst of the storms of life, God is not disrupted by it. It's not affecting God in a negative way. And so we can appropriate God's peace as we trust in Jesus. And then from there, then we move out as peacemakers. Jesus said, blessed are the peacemakers. So because we have peace with God, we have the peace of God, now we can proactively make peace in the midst of a turbulent world, because we have God's peace, because we're at peace with God. And when that happens, now all of a sudden you and I become a force for good and for positive change in the midst of all the struggles of life. And so if you're hearing this right now and you're not really feeling like, hey, I'm at peace in the midst of the turbulence, seek out peace of God, peace with God, peace of God, and then you move out as a peacemaker. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to share this message, because how amazing would it be for all the people to hear this, to be proactively making peace in a world that is so turbulent. And in the comment section, talk about how do you take active steps in the midst of challenging situations to experience God's peace, to walk in God's peace, and then be a peacemaker. And God bless you today.